can go ahead and begin.
How many of you were spanked as children? Raise your hand. Okay, now put your hands down. How many of you were abused or neglected as children? That's what I thought. Many children are abused or neglected and taken away by the state and put into foster care. However, the abuse and neglect does not stop there. It is my belief that we need a better foster care system because it is not good enough for the children that we are raising in America. These children require special care because many of them were abused and neglected. The majority of youth in the foster care system have been removed from their homes as means of protection against parental maltreatment, says Katz, Courtney, and Novatori, which all have degrees in social work and work with universities and children. They are at risk to be abused in the foster care system and neglected because they've already experienced it. This is not working. This does not stop the problem. They were taken out of their homes, and yet they're still being abused. It does not stop there. They did a survey of how many children were abused and neglected. This includes physical, sexual, and just overall neglect. So neglect would include not eating, being sick, being left alone in a closet, and this includes toddlers to being 18, because you're in the foster care system until you're 18. You age out at age 18. And once you're abused and neglected, you're at more risk to be abused and neglected again and again. And the foster care system is not doing much to prevent this. And there are some reasons for this. They do not have enough resources. The government does not give them enough resources, money, or time to help prevent this and keep the children safe. Without enough foster placements, children in and out of the subject to placement, group homes, shelter, or residential care, placement that has been identified to not be beneficial to the well-being as a foster family, says Gregor Weil and Julian Chin. They again have degrees in social work and work with children. So what exactly does that mean? It means that these children are being placed into places that aren't beneficial. So they're taken out of their homes and placed into a group home with many children and not as many adults around to protect and guide them and look after them and make sure they're being taken care of and safe, which puts them at risk for neglect and maltreatment. So is this really helping them? Not necessarily. Another fault in the foster care system is social workers. The social workers themselves are not necessarily at fault, but there are not enough social workers to do their job. They have a lot to do. They're supposed to check in with their clients as much as possible, and they have a big caseload. They have to travel from houses to houses, check in on the foster parents, and make sure that the children are being taken care of. They have so much to do, and yet they don't get paid enough. So why would you want to become a social worker? Because you feel it in your heart. That's the reason you're supposed to do it. However, you don't get paid enough, and you have so much to do, and you're not allowed to do it. Because you don't get paid enough, you have to travel, and it takes a lot of time and energy, and it's really hard to do. Foster parents. It's really hard to place a child with parents when there aren't enough foster parents to place them with. Good foster parents take training, time, and care. They need to have training because most foster children have gone through trauma and bad experiences because they were taken out of homes for one reason or another. There should also be a child limit because when you have more children, there's more chance for abuse and neglect from other children who have gone through bad experiences themselves. They also need to be checked on, but then again, you have social workers who don't have the time to do it. So we need more foster parents who have been trained. But foster parents has been shown that they're declining and quitting the foster care program. That has not been proven why, but it has been proven that they're declining. Now that you know the problem and the background, this is how you can help. this is what you can do. If you see any suspicious activity through children, bruises, or any broken bones that don't feel like you would get them from just being a kid and playing around, report it, whether they're a foster child or just a regular child. If it does seem like they're just a kid and they fell off the sidewalk or something, then it's a little more usual, and you don't have to report it. Allow time for change. The government can't change things right away. You need to give them time. Congress can't just change things right away. But if they have time and maybe you're 18 and you voted and you've given them time, then you should take action. Do what you can and do what you feel is right. How come this is so important? I'll tell you why. Foster children being abused and neglected. That is bad. It's awful that children go through this. But being abused and neglected is not all they're going through. Some children have even been killed. That's what I said, killed. Ryan Joseph reported that when an officer got to this house, a 2-year-old was murdered. Rodham found, the officer that was there, found mucus on Alexander's mouth, suggesting that CPR, which foster parents have been trained to administer, had not been attempted. Which means this poor little girl had basically been killed and left to die. This should not happen, especially when they're brought out of their homes for their safety. Just imagine these little kids, innocent, sweet, not abused kids. For some reason, they had to be taken out of their homes, being abused or neglected for their safety. I can't say that I think that makes any sense, in my personal opinion. The child should be the first priority. No child in or out of foster care should be harmed, especially if it's for their own safety. Foster care is a good system, but it's been neglected and overlooked for some time. The foster care system needs some work. But children are the future, so we should do our best to protect them so they can grow into the adults they're meant to be.
Thank you very much. Let's give her a round of applause. Thank you. Okay, and then if you can go ahead and just stay up front, and we will go ahead and pose questions that we have possibly for you about your topic. Whenever you're ready, folks, you can answer or ask any questions you might have.
Who decides whether kids get taken away?
It is a tricky thing. Basically, it's the court, the social workers, the government, I guess is how you'd say it. Interview in the back.
Okay, how much money does government pay for those kids?
Like for the kids individually?
Yeah. Is there a certain amount that each kid is getting, or it varies?
It varies. The foster parents get paid, which is another topic, which could be why some people get a little heated and feel like that's why foster parents foster and then they just neglect the kids. They do get insurance through the state, so like health insurance, which is paid for. And the state gives the foster parents money so to like go and buy groceries, but it's not like they get their own paycheck or anything. Elijah?
In your opinion, should the foster care program be improved or done away with in a new system?
I'm not sure what the new system would be. I think it needs some major improvements, because no child should have to go through that. I'm not sure what the new system would be. I feel like it would just be a repeat. So if we can make those improvements, then it would be great, but if we can't, then Aiden.
How do you think the government should make these changes if they don't have the resources?
It's not that they have the resources, it's that they're putting them elsewhere. And there was a quote, I didn't put it in, but they put money toward it, they just don't like put it where it needs to go. So they'll like put it in the overall fund. So the higher ups will get it, but like the lower people, like the social workers that do the like heavy lifting sort of stuff, you know what I mean? Don't see the money, and they also don't get the resources that they need. Sam?
Is there any places that don't have foster care?
Like countries?
Yeah.
I'm not sure on that one. I know places that do have foster care, like I know Australia does, I know the UK does. I'm not too sure about that.
Go with
Why?
one more there.
There's sort of background check is used for foster care.
They're supposed to do a background check, and they do, but you can get a lot of things through that. And the example that I showed you where the 2-year-old did die, it was a private organization of foster care, and there was a history of abuse and neglect that the parents had, and yet she was still placed with them. So that just goes to show it's not, but it should be.
Okay, let's give Kay a round of applause. Thank you very much.